So with the Academic Festival Overture, we're back at the pair of overtures Brahms wrote at the same time. And Brahms said of the two overtures, one laughs and one weeps. This is the laughing one, and he also called it a jolly potpourri of student songs, which is exactly what it is. In one of those songs, when Brahms told a friend of his about he was doing this, one of the friends said, "You're not going to use that song, are you? Because apparently one of these tunes is rather naughty." And Brahms said, "You bet I am." And I have to admit, I've never gone back and looked up that song. It's something I keep forgetting to do over the years. Then we get to one of the early serenades. These were the serenades were Brahms's first orchestra pieces. They began as smaller pieces. The first of the serenades, this is the second one on this program, that was going to be his first symphony, and he finished it and looked at it and said, "Nope," and he scratched off symphony and wrote in Serenade, and then he wrote the second Serenade. They're stunningly pretty, fun pieces in a way that you don't expect Brahms to do. And he didn't yet have his mature orchestral voice. He didn't really have that until later. Robert Schumann and Clara said, "You've got to write symphonies, you've got to write big pieces." So Brahms said, "Okay," and he wrote the first piano concerto, which took him about 5 years of struggle. He was terrified of a symphony because he knew he was going to be going up against Beethoven. And this was a time when symphonies were actually kind of moribund. There were not that many being written, and they weren't that good. There had not been a particularly great, ambitious symphony for a long time. He knew he was going to be measured against Beethoven, and he just took his time. He would not let it out until he came up with readjusting new kinds of movements in the middle. He invented the Brahmsian intermezzo as third movement. But finally he was willing to let something out. He didn't believe that he had matched Beethoven, but it was something he knew was worthy, at least. It was the best he could do. And it was, in fact, this piece revitalized the symphony. In many ways, it's hard to imagine the emergence of Mahler, of Sibelius, of Tchaikovsky even, without the fact that Brahms wrote the First Symphony. I have to say, this piece for me, like so many people, is the one that got me with Brahms. Brahms sometimes just like that. And in a way, for me, it's the piece that made me a musician. And a lot of people are like that with Brahms, and that's why I still love the first the most.